just preach about what needs to be done in the long term. Okay? So, what needs to be done in the long term, and we have to think like the leftists, like a psychopath. Because if we don't play their game that they are playing and beating us so bad in the long term and doing this, we're not going to win. We're going to constantly be behind. This is what you gotta do. Okay, and I'll tell you why, how they're doing it in the long term, and why it's working, and why they know it's working, and why they know counting on us to not do nothing, and the next generation. That's very important too. Okay, let's start now. So, look. They are setting up spots as a bigger goal to build it up from the bottom, and they want the next generation, because right now they don't care. They care about going woke. And Marxism at all costs will do whatever it takes to achieve its goal. Okay? So what they do, like I said, they plant seeds. They build it up. They get the next generation to keep them afloat, to mitigate the damage. Because if they can get the next generation, they are banking, looking at it from a long-term perspective. They lose now, in the long term they don't lose. Cancel it out, break even, mitigate damage, didn't do no damage. And while at the same time that they are doing this, they are setting up spots. Build it from the bottom. They're using these companies, they're using these counties, they're using them, build them up, use the resources that you give them to build them up. So you are in a part of the bigger agenda picture to support the wokeness, to keep it going, and to not stop until everything is gone woke. This is the leftist playbook. Why I say psychotic and sociopath, because they are abnormal and will do anything it takes costs to achieve their goals. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, victimhood, oppression, label you as this, XYZ, will constantly do this. Constantly. They know it works. They know it's effective. You know, people don't really do nothing about it. That's why it works. When you're not doing nothing but sit back, do nothing, you're not adding, subtracting anything. You're not doing anything. You're not helping, nor not helping any. So it's a plus zero to any of it. Okay? They ain't afraid of you, because you're not adding anything or subtracting. Okay? Nothing's happening. So, for them to learn the lesson is with the resources, with everything, we redirect it towards. So we redirect the source to Christian, building around Christian values, morals, influence around it, build around it. Right now, maybe small. That's the thing, another thing to add. They've been doing this for many years, they know how it works. We are barely starting to do this. So redirect the resources, all this, build it from bottom up continuously. Do it continuously in the long term, not in the short term. We have this idea of short term win now, lose in the long term. That's not effective enough. It's not going to do nothing to the wokeness, everything. They'll wipe us out in the long term. We have to do it in the long term. We can't do it now. We can't do it one time only. That's it. We can't. Because we have to sustain, take it, and everything. Because they have a lot of resources, everything, to do it at once. No problem. And keep, again, in the long term. And we're just focusing narrowly short term, not long term. What else I want to add? Yeah, let me add another thing. Those who want, I want to have this pride and do this, have my own. No, you can't. That's the leftist, extreme leftist. You have to get rid of all of it. It's not gonna work in the long term. It's just not. You are being part of the bigger agenda to push the wokeness ideas, agenda, Marxism forward in the long term. Just being used left, right, center, being pushed like a rag, that constantly using you as useful idiots, useful tools. Secularism, okay, we're not gonna get anywhere. Can't play both sides, expect it to work. It's just not going to work. So, we have to get rid of the whole thing, system. Reform it. Or replace it. We have to. It's so infected with wokeness that it's like 90, like I just agree for 90%, and affecting others. Smaller wokeness, small, barely starting, and the aim, the goal is become the next woke company, pushing all wokeness, leftist, extreme left, pushing it constantly. And I'm gonna end with this. We don't want just get along, coexist with pride, sin, these things, marches, pride march. No, we don't want that. be it as me, that they may be quote unquote in this aspect moral, upstanding person with moral character. In the end, it's either God or man, not God and man. No, God's morals or man's moral, not coincide, but God's moral law as foundation, standard, everybody are to live. Not live in a sexual promiscuous lifestyle, culture, traditional marriage, bring back man, women, nothing else. That's it. And I don't know if I said this, but I'll repeat it. Regurgitate again. Build around Christian. Build the influence. Support the Christian companies. Build around it. Or what's the word? Integrate those Christian companies into a big company, Christian company, that they're gonna build around it from the Christian worldview. Like strength in numbers is also great to bolster it. Okay. There are things you may be good at that you don't have the infrastructure. All these things show a Christian worldview that you don't have. The resources, this. Plug into those that have the resources. Plug into those that have this. You don't have the resources. Incubate. One mind, one accord. Build around a Christian company. Build it in terms of in the long term. Build around it. Can't have constant fight over which one, because if we're not united, we're gonna fall. The leftists are so strong in everything because they are united on in one accord, in front of one accord and everything to push this working as effective. We don't have that, it seems. Fractured, broken, not one accord, one mind, at each other's throat, down each other's throat, divided. We're not getting better long term. Moving forward, we're not getting ahead in the long run. You know, we're playing checkers, not chess. We're constantly behind for some reason. We're never in the front, 5 steps ahead. We're not like 5 steps ahead. We seem to be constantly behind. And we need to be constantly ahead. Planting the seed, laying the foundation, building around it long term, constantly, water grow constantly constantly, not just one time, 2 times. All of it fails, regress back, not moving forward. They didn't lose a step. Didn't lose a step. They may take a break. The leftist focus. We're not winning, it seems, in long term. And we're still gonna seems to be in behind. We're not making any significant cracks or changes. We have to do it in a long term, not one time. Okay, so that's how we're gonna turn the tide. Slowly, long term. Not in the one blow and we get knocked out and then it's like not constantly moving and we're not making a dent or needle. Again, I want to stress, it's not one off or one time, that's it. It's a long term. Okay? We have to do what the left does constantly. Do good. Do better at it. Better at it. Steps ahead, not behind. Coming from ahead, steps, long term, not behind. So that's all I want to say. But God bless you. Hopefully that's the steps from the mind of the leftist, Marxist agenda, narrative pushing, and how they're doing it using Marxism tactics and everything. Yeah. Other than that, God bless.